First, I want to express my gratitude to my classmates. You know, they made this journey truly enlightening with their sharing, their caring, expressing, and their praying. Excuse me. In each one of them shared their vulnerabilities, making for an incredible, rewarding experience for our entire class. And a special thank you to Harriet for the creativity and the courage to lead us on this journey. Because there were lots of moments that were kind of, wow. And so as I was preparing to give this talk this morning, I went through what's happened in the last 2 years and all the lessons and all the shifts in Jim Duthie that have occurred, and tried to settle on one that was probably the most meaningful and most moving for me. And so let me set the stage for you. It's about time. It's not about time showing up on time. It's about the time that I've spent in my life seeking contentment. You know, I believe in my generation, and maybe all generations, we begin our life's journey with a set of milestones that are pre-selected for us. We have kindergarten at age 5. We have the first grade at age 6. We have middle school at age 12. We start high school when we're 13. We graduate when we're 17 or 18. Some of us go off to college. By the time you're 17 or 18, you kind of hope that you know what you're interested in and excited in. If you go off into the military, you get to start out as a boot. And then you get to be, of all things, a private. And if you're really good, you get to be a private second class. And then you get to be a private first class and a specialist and then a sergeant and maybe then on up the chain of command. And if you go to work, you might start out as a trainee. Well, some people like to start out at the top, but most people start out as a trainee. And then you become an associate and a representative and an advisor and a senior and a director and then maybe a vice president or maybe a president. If you're seeking love or in a relationship, all of a sudden you find love, you get married, you have children, then you have grandchildren if you're lucky. So during each one of these milestones, we're recognized by family, friends, and society that you're passing through these milestones. Things like promotion parties. Things like if you're in the military and you're an officer, you have a wedding down party. Or you might even have a graduation, like today. You know, I'm sure each of you have experienced similar milestones. For me, I was in a hurry. I thought that I achieved this milestone in high school, and after that, the pre-selection was done. I was in a hurry to get through everything else. So I thought as I moved quickly through these things, after all, we only have so much time, I was going to maximize my time. I was really in a hurry. You know, and the whole time I was going through these different milestones in my life, I had a trusted advisor every step of the way. My self-talk. You know, that voice inside that has unlimited energy to present ideas and give advice, even directions. A voice that is always present and rarely quiet. What I didn't realize until recently is my self-talk at times had no justification for the proposals for the conclusion it was proposing. You know, I believed as I began each new chapter of my life and experienced this progression of milestones, I'd be fulfilled by the content by the achievement, the experience. After all, my self-talk was constantly telling me this. And for a long time, it worked. Because I was focused on achieving. Then I realized I was not fulfilled, resulting in me embarking on a similar but different course, also known as changing jobs. And over the course of time, I heard things. Be true to yourself. Don't seek outside approval. To achieve self-satisfaction, find it from within. And what has been most common is you are not your job. So how do you apply these great wisdoms? My problem, I knew over time I tied my self-esteem and self-worth to my job. I had tried many avenues, and all the while focusing on achieving the next milestone to maintain stability for my life and for my family. Then something occurred that brought everything to the forefront. There was this economic downturn. I was in an oversubscribed, overstaffed industry with an abundance of overcapacity. I was, regardless of my past milestones, unemployable. I was forced to acknowledge I was not my job. I could not get a job. The milestones didn't matter. It wasn't pretty, but I began to resurrect my self-esteem ever so slowly, aided always by my self-talk. Skip ahead to the spiritual leadership journey that we've just completed over the 2 years. Before I commenced this journey, I had taken classes. I had asked for help. I had journaled. I had meditated. None on a regular basis. So I would say I was more than mildly aware, but honestly, I was still in a fog. I had this nagging discomfort in my gut. As the class began, and when Reverend Harriet put this class together and extended an invitation, I was one of those that, have being part of this congregation, said yes. You know, she didn't describe the curriculum. You know, she was specifically generally vague about the whole thing. But good training, you just say yes. Or you just have faith. Your choice. So each week, listening to my classmates share, each week listening to my classmates' opinions on the readings, each week listening to my classmates' opinions and discussions of our projects, each week listening to my classmates give treatments, and writing my own covenant, the fog slowly began to rise. I finally truly grasped that we are all one, all the same. That doesn't mean all one, all the same, but it means all one, all the same. We're all looking for the same thing, love. We need to be patient with one another. And if you're lucky enough to be the only man in a class full of women, you really have an opportunity to practice patience. Practicing spiritual practices of meditation and journaling quieted the self-talk. Everything began to slow down. Time slowed down. I did not feel compelled to react to the circumstances with the immediacy that I had previously. And as you know, whenever everything slows down, you have a much better chance to experience, to enjoy, to savor, and to learn that you are whole, perfect, and complete in the moment. Oh, yes. And that pesky self-talk all of a sudden got quiet. Finally, the self-talk knows that spirit rules, and the divine is driving. So today, as I stand before you, thankful for our spiritual leadership experience, the fog is lifted. The most cherished lesson that I've learned, I fully accept that I am not my job, and life's milestones no longer define who I am. I'm free to focus, enjoy, and be content in the light of the moment. I can be spontaneous and embrace this moment. You know, our center may be considered small by some, but it's very rich in resources. Each of you contribute wonderful energy and talent. So thank you. For each of you, too, have contributed to my journey, which I am forever grateful. Thank you.